The publication of the Brundtland Commission report in 1987 undoubtedly contributed in the positive reception of sustainable development around the world. Sustainable development includes economic, environmental, and social issues. When applied to business entities, it refers to the notion of corporate sustainability. In SMEs, which account for over 95% of enterprises in Europe, the personal role played by the owner-manager in implementing corporate sustainability has been widely acknowledged. This results in the strong possibility that his personal values will affect his professional behavior and firm practices. But the presence of a manager with moral values that are in harmony with sustainability does not exclude more pragmatic considerations that necessarily involve awareness and the weighting of economic stakes. Economic advantages stemming from sustainable practices and the business context that is perceived as favorable can make a manager more likely to initiate responsible behavior, and vice versa. Thus, the general objective of this study is to specify the relationship between a manager's values, as reflected in his personal sustainability behaviors, and corporate sustainable practices. A quantitative survey-based method was used to test the research hypothesis at the firm level of analysis. The data were acquired during face-to-face interviews conducted with 135 French SME owner-managers. We assessed each SME's practices in corporate sustainability in terms of the number and the intensity of implemented actions by distinguishing the following three dimensions: environmental, workplace, and community practices. We retained the size and age of the firm and the industrial sector as controls in all the regression models. The results suggest a positive influence of the manager's personal sustainability behaviors on the SME's corporate sustainable practices that appear to be differently moderated depending on the type of practices considered. The influence on environmental practices was fostered through the perception of economic advantages. The influence on workplace practices was only effective when the business environment was deemed benign, and influence on community practices was dampened by the perception of environmental hostility. What are the main theoretical and methodological contributions of this study? First, drawing on research from the managerial discretion and conflicting institutional logics literature, the model embeds different levels of analysis that contribute to a better understanding of the critical antecedents of corporate sustainability and specific business realities in SMEs. The results indicate that personal behaviors and professional practices are influenced by two separate institutional logics as managers seek to address the requirements of both the social and the business environments. The results also show that these influences are interdependent. Next, this study demonstrates the relevance of distinguishing and studying the three dimensions of corporate sustainability in academic work because they are not influenced in the same direction and to the same degree by personal, organizational, and contextual factors. Some practical implications of this study should be considered. The influence of personal behaviors on professional life calls for increased awareness of sustainability by the public at large. As some researchers have noted, the spread of sustainability messages in society has contributed to more sustainable practices in both personal and professional life. However, the public debate on sustainability mainly focuses on the environmental aspects and often ignores social issues. Our findings reveal a need for a more balanced treatment of all sustainability dimensions in sensitization campaigns. Regarding the implementation of environmental practices, which is influenced by economic arguments, a pragmatic approach is suggested for advising managers. For instance, managers' interest in short-term performance suggests an incremental process that is easy to implement and quantifiable in terms of gains. Rather than considering short-termism a barrier to corporate sustainability, which is typically associated with a long-term perspective, it can be used to systematically reach ambitious objectives by considering the process a work in progress. Regarding workplace and community practices, sensitivity to marketplace hostility calls for employers and professional organizations to play a greater role in raising corporate sustainability awareness among managers, particularly when firms are operating in a homogeneous domestic market. Practices that are presented as common industry standards are easier to adopt because they reduce business hostility and do not result in competitive distortions.